Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Football Betting Series here on YouTube Premier League edition. Despite a positive record of 4 wins and 3 losses, we did make a weekly loss of £12. That's got our November record off to a deficit to start things off. Taking that £12 away from our overall record, and we're sitting on 57 wins, 20 losses with 8 pushes, and a series profit of £383.80. I do have 3 picks in today's episode, so if you think I'm talking some sense, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Without further ado, let's get into it. We kick things off with 12th place Brentford playing host to 10th place Bournemouth. And Brentford, they lost in a late collapse in their previous match away to Fulham. After taking a lead in the first half, the Bees did appear to be holding out for the win, only for super sub Harry Wilson to bag a brace in stoppage time to take all 3 points for the home side. This result means that Brentford's form is quite mixed, 2 wins and 2 losses in their last 4 Premier League matches. They play a Bournemouth side who took the lead within 10 minutes against Manchester City in their last game. It was Semyeno that got the breakthrough, and they did really well to withstand the pressure placed on them by the citizens. And then they picked their moments. Against the run of play, they added a second in the second half, thanks to Evan-Nilsson, which meant when Gvardiol scored in the 82nd minute, it did add a bit more tension to the final 10 minutes of the game, but it was Bournemouth that held on for the win, busting a lot of coupons that weekend. In terms of form, this does mean that Bournemouth are now unbeaten in their last 3 Premier League games, with just a single loss in their last 5 league matches. And this recent run of results has seen the side from the South Coast rise to the top half of the Premier League table. In terms of the head-to-head record, Brentford won the last encounter away at Bournemouth, and Mbeumo scored what he thought might have been the only goal of the game in the 86th minute before Dominic Solanke levelled scores just 3 minutes later in the 89th minute. But even this was not the last action of the match, as Johan Wies's strike in the 95th minute saw Brentford retake the lead and bring all 3 points back to West London. And that result saw Brentford stretch their unbeaten streak over Bournemouth to 5 games now, with Bournemouth's last winning coming in 2021, when both sides were back in the Championship. Additionally, Brentford are unbeaten in 8 of the last 9 league meetings between the two sides. My prediction for this game is that both sides are on decent runs, and have been 2 of the best sides to watch this season for the pure excitement in their games. Both sides will register on the scoreboard in this one, and here's why. Brentford have seen both teams to score in each of their last 8 Premier League matches and each of their 4 home league games this season, whereas the away side Bournemouth, they've seen both teams to score in each of their last 2. When we look at the head-to-head record, both teams scored in both games last season, Brentford winning 2-1 on the road, and the match at the G-Tech finishing 2-2. For this reason, I'm going to be backing both teams to score for a full stake in bet number 1. Our second selection sees 20th place Wolverhampton Wanderers playing host to 19th place Southampton, and Wolves, they were held to a draw in their last match against fellow strugglers Crystal Palace. It was the Eagles that made the breakthrough thanks to Trevor Chalobah, but the scores were levelled up pretty quickly by Larsson. 5 minutes after the equaliser, Wolves actually hit the front with João Gomez's strike, but it was O'Neill's side that were unable to hang on. England international Mark Gahey grabbed the second equaliser of the game to level the scores at 2-2. In terms of form, this does mean that Wolves are now winless in 10, but back-to-back draws does show that they're going in the right direction, and they're going to be pretty optimistic about gaining their first win of the season against another side in the relegation zone. Speaking of which, Southampton picked up their first win of the season late on against Everton. Adam Armstrong will steal the headlines with his 85th minute winning goal, but massive credit must go to Aaron Ramsdale in the Saints net. His 5 saves en route to Southampton's first clean sheet of the season was absolutely the reason why they managed to pick up their first win of the season. In terms of form, as I've said, they've broken their duck and picked up their first 3 points, and they're going to be looking to make it 2 from 2 against Wolves, who are currently prop up the league in 20th. In terms of the head-to-head record, it was Wolves that won the last meeting, which did take place at St Mary's in 2023. Southampton allowed their first half lead to slip late on, thanks to a Jan Bednarek own goal and João Gomez's 87th minute winner. Longer term, that result actually continued a Wolves winning streak over the Saints, 5 consecutive top-flight wins and unbeaten in their last 8 meetings dating back to 2019. My prediction for this game is that both sides have struggled for recent form, and I just can't trust them with the responsibility of actually winning a match, especially given Wolves' 10-game winless run. No, instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for goals. Wolves have seen over 2.5 goals in each of their last 7 Premier League games and all 5 home league matches. Southampton, on the other hand, they've fallen shy of the over 2.5 goals mark in their last 2 games. However, they did see over 2.5 goals scored in 4 of the last 5 matches before this point, and also in 3 of their 4 Premier League away games. In terms of the head-to-head record, 2 of the last 3 Premier League meetings have seen over 2.5 goals scored, and for this reason I will be backing over 2.5 goals for a full stake in bet number 2. Our third and final selection in today's episode sees 4th place Chelsea playing host to 5th place Arsenal. And Chelsea, they picked up a point on the road in their last match in the 1-1 draw at Old Trafford. Bruno's penalty was cancelled out by Caicedo's volley, but there were a lot of chances in the match, and that is suggested by the combined XG. In terms of form, it's just 1 win in the last 4 for Chelsea, but the other results did bounce their way, which did see the Blues rise up into the Champions League spots. One of those results was the Arsenal game. Against Newcastle in their last match, they lost 1-0. A pinpoint cross from the right channel was supplied by Anthony Gordon and dispatched with a powerful header by Alexander Isak, the match finishing 1-0. In terms of form, that does mean that the Gunners are now winless in 3 as their title challenge begins to stutter. In terms of head-to-head records, the last match between these sides was a game to forget for the Blues. Arsenal ran out 5-0 winners in a very convincing display. One key performance to highlight was Kai Havertz as he led the line against his old side, scoring 2 goals. Longer term, Arsenal are unbeaten in their last 5 matches against their London rival, winning 4 of these encounters. My prediction for this game is that both sides are in a patchy spot of form, so a winner will be hard to call here, but the one thing I'm looking at is goals. Chelsea have seen over 2.5 goals in 4 of their 6 games. Chelsea have seen over 2.5 goals in 4 of their last 6 games, and in 2 of their last 3 home matches. Similarly, Arsenal have also seen over 2.5 goals in 4 of their 6 games. When we look at the head-to-head records, at least 3 goals have been scored in each of the last 3 matches, or 4 of the last 5 head-to-head encounters as well. So with this in mind, I'm going to be backing over 2.5 goals for a full stake in the final bet of today's episode. So there we have it, 3 picks in today's episode, starting off with Brentford-Bournemouth. We're backing both teams to score at odds of 1.45, a £40 stake to return 17.78. Also on the Saturday, we have Wolves and Southampton. We're taking over 2.5 goals in that match, odds of 1.67, a £40 stake to return 26.80. Then over on the Sunday, probably the best game of the weekend, Chelsea versus Arsenal. We want to see at least 3 goals in that game, odds of 1.67, a £40 stake to return 27.60. So across the weekend, we're going to be risking £120 to hopefully pick up as much as £72.18. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune to the next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Don't forget to check out the continental picks in the pinned comment down below. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.